Hello beautiful beings, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, your conscious and subconscious mind and how that relates to manifesting. Oof, I just love talking about it. Okay, so we're going to get right in. And as a little disclaimer, I feel like I have to say this because I've been seeing so many videos of different coaches saying that, the conscious versus subconscious mind is a limiting belief in itself. A little disclaimer would be it could be a limiting belief, but from what I have seen is that a lot of the people that have worked extensively in conscious and subconscious mind, learning about it and executing things that way, are doing amazingly, are rich, are millionaires, have lives that we want to have. And as a rule of thumb for me, I follow people that have the lifestyle that I want to have. So can you manifest without working on your subconscious mind and reprogramming? Of course. Nothing is impossible. But like I said, I'm going to follow the people, I'm going to follow the trail. So I'm going to follow the people that are doing really, really well because I want to get there sometime soon. All right? All right. So the mind, the brain, there is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind, is the reasoning mind. And the subconscious mind is the habitual mind. The conscious mind it works around 5% of the time, and the subconscious mind is about 95%. On top of the fact that it's thousands and thousands and thousands of times stronger than your conscious mind. It is also believed that your manifestations spring from this subconscious mind. There's a lot of teachers that speak about this. So that's also one thing to keep in mind. So when you are born, you come into this world with some programming already. What programming is that? You come with programming from your parents that gets transferred to you through the umbilical cord, epigenetics, and through strong emotions carried on by your mother. So you come slightly programmed already from that aspect. There's also something called generational trauma that also gets transferred through the epigenetics on the child. So let's say, for visual effects, that maybe it's about 20% of the programming you come with already. The rest is a blank canvas. So from the ages of 1 to 7, that is your prime for programming. What I mean by that is that your little brain is still developing itself. Your subconscious mind and conscious mind at this point is still not fully separate from each other. They constantly blend into each other. That is how when we were children we're able to have imaginary friends. And we're able to just see things that are in there faster because our subconscious mind and conscious mind are kind of still mushed together. So reality is not fully set for the child, which means that you're basically an open sponge. You absorb everything. You absorb behaviors from your parents, from your community, from your school. Everything surrounding the child is constantly programming that child up until the age of 7. After the age of 7, you're continuously being programmed, but it doesn't work as fast or as easier as it is for the younger years. So a lot of the bigger traumas or deep rooted limiting beliefs that a lot of people walk around with are limiting beliefs that come from that age time, because they get deeply rooted in there, because it was so easy for you to get programmed during that age time. Now, moving forward in time, as you guys already know, we are continuously being programmed left and right by everything around us anyway. The problem is that even though we are after the 7 years of age, society has become this massive, super sufficient machine at programming people. For example, look at the news networks. They literally will play the same negative news 20 times a day. How is that programming you? Through repetition. Because they know that one of the easiest ways to reprogram a person is through repetition. Because repetition is how you start to build a habit. So going back to conscious versus subconscious and what it means. Conscious mind, and I'm trying not to ramble here because I know I ramble a lot. But as we said before, the conscious mind is the thinking mind, and the subconscious mind is the habitual mind. So, do you have to think about walking to walk? No, you just automatically walk. But at the beginning, when you were learning how to walk, you had to try. You had to think about it really hard as a baby when you were learning, and you would fall, and you would get back and try again. So, because you repeatedly tried to walk, it became a habit. So once it becomes a habit, you no longer have to think about it. That's the subconscious mind, the habitual mind. When you're learning how to drive a car, at the beginning you're very nervous. You have to really, really consciously think about driving. And you have to do it over and over and over until you get used to driving. Once you're used to driving, you don't have to think about it. You can drive and you can talk to other people. Well, at the beginning, you probably can't even focus on talking because you're focusing on driving. So the conscious mind is the thinking mind, is the reasoning mind, is the mind that you use to read a book. So you read a book and you're like, wow, that really makes sense. That is so true. I'm going to do that. And then what happens? You don't do it. You forget about it until you pick up the book again and read it again. Because that's not how we learn. We learn through repetition. There are other ways you can learn too, but the most efficient one is repetition. So you also learn that way. You learn via repetition. That's why a lot of times in school, you have to read something over and over and over. And in some schools, I know in the Caribbean, they made you memorize it. And then the next day, you had to say what you memorized in front of the class because they knew that was a way for you to learn. And once you memorize it, it's just in there. It's stuck in there. And you memorize things all the time that you don't even understand. But once it's memorized, it's in there. So how does that work when it comes to our manifestations? We want the specific person. So we're trying to manifest a specific person. And we're doing all of these techniques. But we're saying, I don't have to do any healing. I don't have to do any reprogramming. I know that what I want is going to come to me. And then because we know that manifesting is automatic, we get our manifestation. Because we're consciously thinking about what we want. and we want that manifestation, so we get it. And then what happens? Then you go from your thinking mind to your subconscious mind, and one day you go on automatic, which is your subconscious mind, and then your manifestation goes away because you didn't do the techniques, or you didn't do the work or the healing work long enough for it to get absorbed deep into your subconscious mind. So think about it. It's all roses and petals while you're consciously thinking about something. But when you're not consciously thinking about something, you revert back to who you were before. Because who you were before is what you're programmed as. So until you change that program, until you change that state, then there is no way that you can keep your manifestation long term. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to explain that a little bit more, if you have any questions. But basically, your conscious mind is your thinking mind. While you're thinking, I'm happily married to my person, I'm happily married to my person, I'm happily married to my person, it's all good. But remember, your conscious mind is only about 5% of your mind. And you're not consciously thinking 24/7. So there is going to be a point in time where you're going to drop from conscious to subconscious. And when you drop to subconscious, what is your subconscious telling you? We're not married. We're never going to get married. That's not going to happen. Come on, you never get picked. You never get chosen. And then what happens? Your manifestation goes bye-bye. But if you reprogram your mind to believe that you're worthy of love, to believe that you are chosen, to believe that you can have this person, to believe that you're already happily married to this person, then if for whatever reason your conscious mind slips for a second and you fall out of your preferred state, your subconscious mind is there to pick you up, because your subconscious mind is already prepped for the desire that you want. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are both on the same state, are both on the same beliefs. And that is why we say that affirmations are so important, because you're reprogramming that bigger aspect of your brain, that bigger aspect of your mind, and reprogramming it in a way that if you have a bad day consciously, it doesn't matter, because your subconscious mind is still there to hold it back, to hold it up. If you want me to link, actually no, let me rephrase that. I have linked a lot of really good books on my description box below. One of my favorite that talks about conscious versus subconscious mind, and epigenetics, which is a whole new conversation of how your genes do not determine who you are, or do not determine any illnesses you might get. His name is Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he has a book called The Biology of Belief, I believe. His book is linked below. He's amazing. He's also on YouTube, of course. I hope that made sense. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want any clarity, I can always make a part 2 of this video. And I hope you like it. I hope that made sense. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss any videos. If you want to work with me, my email is also in the description box below. And until next time, bye.